Panchtantra stories are only told to younger children. They are seldom told to or say narrated to bigger children. We don't teach Panchtantra in class 10, 12. I think we should. In Panchtantra stories, the hallmark understanding of mine is that each story brings about things wherein situations are overwhelming. So there is a contest of race, of running between, say, a hare and a tortoise. Unheard of. They are no match. So for a tortoise, I mean, the external situation is absolutely unwinnable. Can't do much about it. Can't run faster than hare to win the race. But it's all about surviving. When I say survival, I don't mean physical survival alone. Panchtantra stories has stories of physical survival also. But in this particular story, we see that it's all about, prudence. It's all about self-respect. So what must have tortoise thought? What must he have done to his psychology before participating in a race like that and winning? To the best of my understanding, he must have thought that this is an unwinnable situation. Can't do much about anything. I can't reduce hare's speed of running. What I can do is that I can be, I would be running, or rather walking as fast as I possibly can. I will not, I will complete the race. I will complete the distance to be run. And thirdly, he must have thought that hare is slightly arrogant. And if he commits any errors in the process, I will translate those errors into an opportunity towards my winning. This is the deeper thought that the tortoise must have thought. And he ran and he won. Even till date, we know for sure that if we run a hare and a tortoise, there's no chance a tortoise will win. This we know for sure. But even then, we believe in tortoise winning when it is a race with a hare. These are thoughts. These are deeper thoughts. These are thinking patterns that we try to evolve in children when they are young. So in all of these stories, unwinnable wins. Any of these stories you take up, the weaker animal, the smaller animal, the unwinnable survives and wins. I think these stories, without talking about any of the pandemics or any of the other external situations, they are trying to create thought processes in children. And these stories were written for children. Jataka tales, Panchatantra stories, these were written for children, would-be kings. So let's take it as a metaphor. If somebody has to be a king, then somebody also has to have a thought pattern which is hugely resilient, doesn't get disturbed by whatever is happening outside. If outside situations are extremely bad, say a war or a famine or anything like that, then the person is able to think out of box, think extraordinary. It simply means that he or she has to learn to put the house in order first. So I think we also can draw inspiration from these stories and these concepts, that under these circumstances, what do we tell our kids when we talk to them in our classes or from school spaces when we conduct online classes, or for that matter, counseling children or parents? What do we tell them? Do we tell them, don't worry, this will get over, it's all right, everybody's worried, so it's all right if you are also worried, this will pass off, this will go off, this we will be able to survive, so on and so forth? Do we tell them all this? Or do we tell them that under any and every circumstance, the magic that a human personality has is something that we can invoke in difficult times? Invoking that personal magic is something that you can feed to children. Trust me. This is the only magic that we have. Individual personalities, the magic of individual personalities. And that can be invoked through stories like this and telling them that howsoever difficult external situations might have been, some people have lost their family members, some people's family members are struggling, and there are bad news all over. Under these circumstances, if we are to only give them a thought that internal house has to be put in order, do not lose trust upon yourself. So this goes for everybody: children, adolescents, young adults, seniors like us, all across board. Everybody has to believe and trust upon their own individual magic. As a clinician, I do see cases wherein I do see many people, emanating this magic. Not only they benefit from the magic that they exude, the magic that they are able to, bring out of themselves, they are also able to influence the environment. Possible, it's possible. Also, now that I don't think we have any children on the session, we have adults on the session. Another thing that I think is a draw or a takeaway from clinical practice is that even when you are scared within, none of us are superhuman beings. All of us are very, very ordinary human beings. When it comes to dealing with crisis, when it comes to dealing with, say, understanding, appreciating, or a perception of the situation, all of us are ordinary mortal human beings. But whatever you're feeling inside as a teacher, as a counselor, as a school head, whatever, do not bring it onto the environment. That is our responsibility. Do not bring it into the environment. Don't add that extra bit of anxiety into the environment, which is already very, very turbulent. Try to emanate or give out some peace, some tranquility, some trust and faith. That works. That really works. So basically, under these times, mental health per se is not an issue. People are not going, quote unquote, mad. I'm using this wrong word, harsh word, but people are not getting crazy. People are afraid. They are very afraid because they don't understand what is happening. Kids are afraid. They don't understand what's happening. So fear is the main emotion that we are experiencing in today's times. Fear happens to us. It's a normal emotion. It happens to us only when we don't understand certain things. So if supposing, for example, somebody has to go to a place where African tribes, native African tribes reside, and if supposing one of you are told that you will be having a duty of, say, 3 months into this place, African native tribes, and you have no knowledge of this native tribe, you don't understand their language, you don't understand what kind of food that they eat and what kind of culture they follow, the primary emotion that you will experience is fear. But if you know a place, you know your hometown very well, you don't fear, you're not afraid. So anything that we do not know, anything, brain experiences certain unrest of unknown things, of unknown places, of unknown situations. And that we term as fear. So this fear is not emanating from COVID conditions. This fear is the inherent thing that we have in our brain makeup. Our brains are not wired to remain happy, comfortable, peaceful. No. We are survival driven. We have survival driven brains. So let's put it in the form of a story, the neuropsychology. So thousands of years back, we had a small brain. When we would reside in jungles, we would live in jungles. We had a small brain, and upon that small brain, we had little thin layer of cortex, intelligence. And this kind of a layer, almost all animals had. And this brain, which was a primary brain, was wired for survival. So 5 sense organs would keep scanning the environment and would keep bringing in information to this brain, and this brain would process and find out whether there's any threat to survival. And if it would believe that there's a threat to survival, also, even when it would anticipate that there can be a threat, under both these circumstances, this brain would create a fight-flight reaction in your body. So if the threat is small, fight with the threat. And if the threat is big, run away from the threat. Basic thing is that you save yourself, survive. So this was the primary brain doing all of this. And with the time, the cortical layer grew. So today, the kind of brain that we have a very thick layer of cortex upon this primary brain. And we are very most intelligent species on this planet Earth because of this layer of cortex that we have. We have evolved, we have moved to civilized societies, but this primary brain, which was wired for survival, has not disappeared. It is still with us. And it is at the base of your brain. It is the back office of your systems. It works, and it still senses anything which it doesn't understand as threat, and it generates a fight-flight reaction within your body. And this unrest is normally termed either as being fearful, being anxious, being restless, being just listless, clueless. These are not mental health issues. These are arising primarily because we don't understand the situation. So please understand that it's not that mental health, the tsunami has come about and people are losing their minds. They're not understanding. They are behaving in certain different ways. No, it is only that brain does not understand these situations well. We have no information to soothe its fight-flight reactions. So we keep experiencing it. And what happens when you experience fight-flight in today's times, when you are out of jungle, it so happens that the basic biological functions start getting affected. So basic biological functions are hunger. So we don't feel like eating much, or we overeat. The signals go wrong. We don't understand that whether we have been appropriately satiated with food or not. So either you undereat or you overeat, or there's loss of appetite, or there's acidity, so on and so forth. Hunger, the sense of hunger goes wrong. Sleep goes wrong. People are unable to have peaceful sleep. And it's not because they have any sleep disorders. It's because the back office is functioning over time, and all of these biological functions are governed by this back office of yours. So sleep is disturbed. Some people who have experienced tragedies during these times, they really find it very difficult to sleep at night. A fear of getting caught in the situation, something catastrophic might happen, that kind of a thought. They're unable to sleep, worry for their kids, worry for their near dear ones, so on and so forth. So sleep gets disturbed. Third thing that gets disturbed is human relationship. The warmth is going. So in a family, the relationship between, say, husband, wife, the relationship between kids, the fundamental warmth amongst family members is getting disturbed. And this is impacting the source of positive mental health. So husband-wife have disturbed relationships because too much is happening in the processing of the brain and too much within the body. Kids are reacting. They are becoming reactive and abrasive. So you speak on things like, have breakfast, and they come back with a reactive tone and behavior. All that is happening. Kids have started to kind of, take the easy course of not taking the long route of studying, memorizing, say doing homeworks, etc. A lot of students come and when they tell me, since the sessions are also online like this one, they tell me that, I ask them, ki, test kaisa gaya? They say, अच्छा गया मैम, टेस्ट तो बहुत अच्छा किया. Cheating कितना किया? So most of them say कि they are honest. if you no, create a bond of trust, they tell you that, हाँ मैम बहुत cheating किया, हम सबने मिलके खूब cheating किया. So the thing is that kids are kids, and they are taking recourse to shortcuts, and this is not one or two kids. This is happening rampantly. So thoda sa the home environment wherein the relationship between the important core members of the family, that is getting affected. So these are certain of the fundamental things which I find are getting impacted by the fight flight thing. So all this is real. This is happening. So one thing I would like to highlight is that we are not getting psychologically ill as a society. We are simply trying to find out answers and trying to settle back, trying to come back into that comfortable mode and module that we had as a society prior to when COVID struck all of us. So that is the struggle that we are under, and this struggle is absolutely genuine and good. We have to put up a big fight and good fight, and let's not resist from putting up a good fight. Let's fight. Trust, faith, and making the established things remain. The warmth in the house has to remain. The schedules are to remain. So I always tell my subjects, I don't like calling them patients, subjects, that focus on the 24 hours. 24 hours is the most important thing that you have. So in a 24-hour schedule, primary focus has to be 4. 1, that you have to eat well. 2, you have to sleep well, 8 hours. 3, students and even professional students, students from IIT, students from other professional courses who are now at home because campuses are closed. I tell them that prepare an 8-hour schedule on your table chair and sit there like a duty-bound officer and try to develop an attitude towards work under certain difficult circumstances like this. So I tell students that school used to be 6 hours now, so let's now not change this schedule of sitting around books and spending time with books. So that is one thing, the activity schedule or the study schedule. 4th is exercising. Even when we are closed in our homes and we don't have much opportunity to go out and exercise, etc. At home too, we can conduct certain exercises which can make us remain fit, and we can work towards remaining fit even at home. So morning times, yoga, PT drills can be done, and evening times, skipping, spot jogging, or if you have the cycling thing at home, the exercising cycle, or any of the other things. Children, adults must sweat for half an hour at least in the evening times once they are through with their active schedules of work. And evening times, once you are free from your active work, that is a professional scholarly work, thereafter must exercise, relax, be with the family, do an indulgent household activities, whatever. Get rid of your gadgets latest by 10:30. That is something that we will have to understand during these times, because we are all closed and technology is within us, is very much within us now. And this technology interferes with us and our brain processes. So it is very addictive. It kind of suggests that if you're unable to sleep, chalo ek Netflix ka movie dekh le. So there 3 hours to 2 hours plus go just like that. And then when you look at the clock, it's 2 to 30 in the night. So we are disturbing, we are contributing to disturbance of sleep, so to say. Make this a schedule that you are you shut your gadgets, move away from your gadgets latest by whatever time, 11, 11:30, 10, 10:30, whatever. Then if you are not able to sleep, then please read or do anything. Keep away from gadgets. But these are systems that interfere with your brain processes. And I will tell you how they interfere. You must understand what I am talking. Uh, your brain has two levels of awareness functions. So one is the active awareness level, or let us say it is, say, higher order functioning. Higher order functioning is invoked when a child studies books, thinks, patience, happiness, tolerance, trust, faith. These are all higher order functions. And then this lower order thing within all of us, and that is distrust, fear, anxiety, um, apprehensions, reactiveness. All of this is lower order. Machines do not, technology doesn't connect with the higher order. Technology connects with the lower order. So if you remain too much with technology, you might have noticed that kids who play a lot of video games, they tend to have a change in their behavior. They're more reactive, more aggressive, more non-tolerant. They are more non-tolerant. They have little patience. Their attention span is short. All that is not some fault that happens to child. What is happening is that constantly remaining at a lower level doesn't really, then brain is a lazy system. आप इसको ज़्यादा यहाँ रखेंगे, then it wouldn't feel like, crossing over and exerting to reach up to the higher levels. That is the danger. So remember that remaining away from technology for some time is very important. And you are governed by a biological clock, which is connected to, say, sunrise and sunset. We still hold a very primitive system here, very primitive. So you're connected and governed by the morning, evening, sunset, sunrise. And if you do not respect the sunset boundaries, that is after dark, if you will keep your brain awake, if you will indulge in keeping your brain awake, then signals go awry. Brain doesn't realize that it is time to sleep. So sleep signals go wrong. When sleep signals go wrong, however hard you want to sleep, then this wrong habit is learned, and then we will have to do some bit of an extra effort to unlearn that wrong habit. So do it today, start from today. That create hygiene. Technological hygiene from technology also needs to be done. So you sleep on a clean bed, you eat good food, you wear clean clothes. Do also clean the impact of technology into your life and into your head. Keep away from all of this. You can schedule your time, 10, 10, 30, 11, whatever time it is. So that is something that we need to do. And amongst the family members, the kind of talk that you must indulge in, I'm talking about the content of communication, that has to be good stories. Try not to repeat, try not to bring in discussions, narratives, which are fear-provoking or anxiety-provoking. Let's talk about more things which are, say, solution-oriented, if not trust-building, if not higher order thinking, if not giving some deeper concepts for deeper thought. So play games which are concept-oriented, talk things which are, as I said, Panchatantra stories. Children, people who have small kids, let's make it a thing of talking about Jataka tales and Panchatantra stories, maybe narrating them differently, maybe bringing out the thing that I said, that, weaker animal wins over the stronger animal. There are times when all of us feel like a weaker animal. Nobody can say that I have never had a moment when I have not felt like a weaker animal. All of us feel like a tortoise at some point in time or the other in our lives. So kids will remember that whenever they will have this sense that they are tortoise in this situation, they will remember that tortoise won. So let's give them, these are beautiful times in certain ways that we have more time with kids. Let's work upon their psychology. Let's work upon their thought process. Thought processes, they have survived human race. Trust my word. We as a surviving species and surviving with good quality is because we can think. We have higher order thought. So let's work upon that. that one factor that has made us survive. Let's not lose it in these tough times. Inside of homes, inside of classrooms, inside of general discourse, let's talk of positive things. We will also have to change our habits. Another thing that I wish to bring in is, whatever faith you belong to, do please ensure that certain of the faith building talk is also done in the house. So people who are who are as a religion, if they follow Islam, make sure that all of you sit down together for one namaz together, maybe, and maybe the other religion like Hindus, Christians, follow some faith building thing. I'm not advocating, religious ritualism. What I'm suggesting is that it's always good for human beings to have trust and faith over and above human existence. The more stronger we have it, we are in, the more resilience the possibility and probability of having more resilience under tough times, trying times exists. So this is one of the things that I would suggest. Wear a Buddha smile on your face. Whatever you might be doing, even when you're not able to mingle with people, not socialize, not go out, etc., even at home, each one of you in the family should be polite to each other, should be speaking to each other in tones and in the facial gestures with a Buddha smile. These are sights. Eyes see it, transfer it to the occipital cortex, brain processes and feels that environment is not hostile. It is full with warmth. So try and create your spaces as warm spaces, as safe spaces, as comfortable spaces. So these were the few suggestions from a clinician and from my experience as a professional. And I think now certain of you must be having certain queries, specific ones. And I think Manisha can now bring on the queries that she has filtered.
Yes, ma'am. We have some queries, we have some questions with us. So the first question is from Dr. Nidu Arora. How to comfort parents and children in this new scenario? So over to you, ma'am, with this question.
Most of it I have been able to answer. Comforting is one thing. What do we normally say when we comfort somebody? The normal statements are, don't worry, things will get better, and it's all right, it's a tough time. These are certain of the standard statements that somebody can say to the other person to comfort. But all this does not work because everybody knows this. We have to tell them something which can revolve the clock upon themselves so that they can put their own house in order. Tell them that what can you think of to tell your children so that they are faith oriented and trust oriented and stronger, robust psychology holding adults. What is it that you can tell them? First thing is, which is very comforting, I might find you, some of you may find me paradoxical, but if this is what we practice also. So educating the child or the parents in the right ways is the first thing. Tell them that it's real. There's no hiding. Each one of us are at risk, but each one of us also have intelligence. Each one of us also want to live well. We want to grow, evolve, and be successful and live happily. So that which one should weigh heavy? The fear or the zest? Give them a thought to ponder upon. And trust me, This is how you will not only be able to tell them to deal with the anxiety, but also you will be able to evolve their thoughts. And that is primarily what we need to do when we are dealing with people in these anxious times. Yes, Manisha.
And we have few more questions, and one is very common question that everyone is facing during this pandemic. So the question is, lots of people are having issues with career uncertainty during pandemic. How should they deal with such situations?
It's real. The employment thing is a real thing, but this is not going to stay. That also is way too sure. See, these are times when we have to, sometimes we may have to lie a little low, wait for the right time to emerge. And during these times, instead of worrying and fretting over things, we can build upon or sharpen our skills, because this world will require experts. This world will require diligent workers. This world will require knowledgeable people. This world will require across board, people who are masters of their crafts. So would we be there when opportunities open or not? That is the entire thing. So focus on your skill building. So say, for example, currently somebody does not have a job or employment, can think of adding certain skills which would be helpful later. So utilize this time to build yourself up. Don't lose this time worrying about things, getting anxious about things. Time will open up. And this also relates to a matter of finance. So certain of the people have financial issues because of loss of employment. I understand that it is a difficult thing. Reduce whatever you possibly can in terms of, say, whatever facilities you are availing, reduce. Learn to live as minimalistic as possible, and try to increase your income by doing whatever you possibly can, whatever. Because earning in a decent way is, I think, this is my firm belief. Hard work is never ever disrespectful. Whatever work you can get hold of, just float, just sustain this time and keep building yourself, because better times are about to come. They are coming. Just wait for them with the right skill sets in your hand, with the right mindset, and with the right health. So build all on all of these counts during these low times. Don't waste time.
Thank you so much for the answer, ma'am. And we have few more questions, so I'm just sharing the same with you.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, we have a question by Muzaffar Khan. He has said that he's very impressed by your talk, but he's having a question that small children are becoming like screen addicted. So, how to overcome that?
This partly is compulsive. We can't take telephones away from them. We can't take laptops away from them, because they are conducting education through them. Understand, technology is here to stay. It's not leaving us. We are not leaving technology, rather. And now technology is not leaving us. All right. So technology is here to stay, and we have to learn to deal with it in certain ways, which has to be more thought of. We have to have more proper ways to deal with this technology thing. The technology now is in such a way that it becomes addictive. Forget about children, even adults are addicted to screens. All right. So technology has intruded into our private spaces, but we will have to be very, very diligent and very, very specific as to how much of the influence we will permit technology to have upon ourselves, and how much of discipline we have to inculcate, so that we are rid of this another kind of virus. So plan and think, and no, two rules will not apply in your house. Remember, rules have to be one. If you are imposing certain discipline upon screen time, then you yourself should start following it. I said it that, make a rule that by 10:30 all the gadgets are to be off. You have to create a hygiene from these gadgets. So create certain rules and you also become part of the rule. And I'm sure you will be able to mend the environment at home.
We have one more question, which is related to this pandemic, which is demise, or if there is a demise of dear ones, is also hampering the psychological issue. So how to deal with such scenario? Like how to deal with that?
Yes, this is something very real. But please understand, grief is part of normal living. ऐसा तो नहीं था कि कोविड में ही डेथ्स हो रहे हैं, इसके पहले कभी डेथ्स हमने सुनी नहीं, ऐसा नहीं. Death is part and parcel of normal lives. We know that death happens. So death is happening now. Certain times, very unfortunate situations, and certain times unwarranted situations too. I do understand. If somebody has lost a family member in COVID times, your mind and your body will grieve in a very normal way. It will grieve the way you would have grieved for any other grief in the family. So it is the same thing. Grieving is a mental process. Dimag ko, to accommodate this new information that this particular person is not there anymore, brain has to recalibrate the entire of the schema in the brain. Pura ka pura system usko recalibrate karna padta hai. And this entire recalibration requires huge amount of energy. So if you are grieving, howsoever sad, bad it might have been, but make sure that your family eats religiously. Make sure that your family sits together. And even if you cry sitting together, it's all right. Crying is no crime. Crying is a normal emotion. We can cry in grief. Make sure that you are compassionate towards each other. Don't start howling at each other. Don't start turning your grief into anger. There are times when I've seen that, people who are sad, they also become very angry, agitated. Don't let this happen to yourself. When you're grieving, understand that you're grieving and let grief remain as grief. Don't let it convert into aggression. That is the first duty of yours. Brain requires certain few good months to deal with grief. If it is of a very near dear one, of a family member, very close, it takes good time, right? Give yourself that time. And with time, grief will be handled. Let brain function its own. You just provide sufficient amount of energy by eating right, by sleeping right, by indulging in certain of the other religious rituals, if you follow those, and let brain do its job. That's all that you can do. Do not create wrong narratives out of grief. Doctors ने ये नहीं किया, अस्पतालों ने ये नहीं किया, सरकार ने ये नहीं किया. I am not really forwarding any kind of a political view out here. What I'm suggesting simply is that blaming में मत जाइए. बहुत खराब टनल है, इसमें से निकलना मुश्किल है. इसलिए grief को जज्ब करो. It's a normal emotion to happen and deal with it individually. If you are a father or a senior person in the family, adult in the family, make sure that your kids learn how to grieve. उनको भी पता चले that grieving is not about becoming aggressive. Grieving is about grieving. Let's be respectful towards the departed soul. Yeah. So these are certain of the higher things, certain of the more deeper things that you can bring into your family environment by respecting grief as it is. These would be my words. I think we don't have, at least I do not have any suggestion or solution to get rid of that emotion completely. Brain will take its own time. You be supportive to your brain.
Thank you, ma'am. And ma'am, we have a lot of questions related to students, children whose exam has cancelled. And we have a question by Dr. Parul Mishra, how to convince about biological clock to our teenage students. Staying up late has become their lifestyle. And so many questions are there that exam has cancelled. Now they are like, they have lost their focus. So how to cope up with that?
See, the routine thing, I understand. The 24-hour discipline has absolutely gone for a toss, and specifically adolescents. Why I'm saying adolescents is because the sleep centers do not become mature or regulated till late 20s. Sorry. So if and the tendency, because they're not regulated still in these 11th 12th 9th 10th 11th 12th kids and junior college freshers in the courses. So because the sleep centers are not regulated, so the tendency is to remain in the state that they are in. So if they are awake, the tendency would be to remain awake, and once they sleep, the tendency would be to keep sleeping, because the centers do not, they still have not developed the auto-regulatory mode, which we have as adults. We have auto-regulatory modes in place. Adolescents do not have that in place, and that will be in place till about late 20s. So how to help this regulation process? We have to teach them to kind of bring in some discipline with regards to sleeping and waking. So supposing your child sleeps at say 2 o'clock, you negotiate with your child to say sleep say 1 o'clock. Try to slowly push the boundaries more towards the side, and decide pushing it this way. And in the morning, whichever time the child must have slept, try to negotiate with the child to wake up at a certain time. Make a deadline. And if we are able to cover these two ends, then most certainly we will be able to kind of correct some bit of indiscipline. So that can be done. And as I said, 24-hour is to be scheduled well, and you also make sure that your 24-hour also is scheduled. Adults or parents cannot have their own way while kids are struggling with disciplining their 24 hours. It has to be a family routine. There will be headaches, there will be problems, but then if you insist and if you persist positively upon certain things without losing temper, without getting irritated, agitated, and etc., then I'm sure that your words and your behavior will have much more resonance. They will be able to understand and reciprocate.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for answering all the questions and queries. And I hope you all got the answers. And I would like to inform everybody that I am sharing the feedback form in the chat box. Please share your valuable feedback so that we can get your feedbacks. Okay, I'm just sharing the same. I hope we have covered up all the questions. If any question is unanswered, we will be sharing the contact details so that you can ask your questions. I think I have shared the feedback form again. If yes, please share the feedback. And thanks a lot, ma'am, for such a wonderful igniting session and the one. Okay, somebody has muted. Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so thanks a lot, ma'am, for such a wonderful and igniting session and wonderful audience for being patient throughout the session. Hope we have met your expectations and would love to hear from you more about the same in the future as well. In case you are left with any more queries related to mental health, psychological well-being, so share your feedback, share your queries on WhatsApp. I will be sharing the WhatsApp number in the chat box. And if you can mail us at educosunite@gmail.com. Now, our director, Mr. Ratish Gupta, will present a token of respect and regards to Dr. Seema Sharma for the remarkable session of the day. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you, Ratish, sir.
Thanks, Manisha, ma'am. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Seema, ma'am, for her gracious and presence and doing a wonderful session today. Thanks again, ma'am, for the entire team of Edukos Unite of Scholars. And now I would like to present you a token of respect and regard virtually. Kindly accept the same, and I would like to forward to meet you very soon. And a great thanks for all the educators across the globe of principals, vice principals, and all authors and counselors, and who all made this event a grand success. We would love to serve you through our team Edukos journey. I hope our contact details have already been shared. Take care and stay safe. Over to Manisha, ma'am, please.
I am just sharing the contact details in the chat box. If anyone is having any queries, any questions related to psychological issue, mental health issue, anything is there, you can ping us on WhatsApp and you can mail us. So I'm just sharing the details. Thank you everyone for participating, giving your precious time, and thank you so much, ma'am, for the valuable knowledge.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Ritesh. Thank you, Manisha. And thank you, participants. Thank you so much.